Let's quickly go across to our guest joining us this morning. We have Rahul Ishwar with us. Also with us is Mr. Firoz Bakht Ahmed, who's the former VC, MANUU, and also IP Singh, who is the spokesperson of SP. Quickly, first up, beginning with you, Mr. Rahul Ishwar, because, you know, we've seen the top court intervene in this very case. A lot of hopes really pinned on what the Varanasi court today will come out with, because, you know, earlier, the civil court had ordered the filming of the Gyanvapi Mosque. A lot of opposition came in on that. Today, whatever side the court rules, whatever side the court decides to take in that sense, what are you really hoping this is going to end up in the next few months?
Two or three situations. One, whichever point the Honorable Court takes, that should be respected, and both sides should accept it. And if there is any grievance, they should go to a higher court. Second, the head of the most powerful Hindu organization, RSS, Sarsang Chalak, Pujaniya Mohan Bhagavatji, categorically made it clear that we cannot search for a shivling beneath every mosque. At the same point of time, there are some historical places which are very sensitive, whether it is, Idgah Mosque, whether it is Gyanvapi. So these are some sensitive spots. I hope there is a legal solution. Also, there is a harmonious solution, whereas our Muslim brothers and Hindu brothers sit together and talk to each other like mature adults. Let us not brush things under the carpet. Let us talk to each other. As we all know, Ayodhya, Kashi or Mathura, both sensitive hai. Isliye, let's talk about it and let's find a friendly, amicable conciliation. That should be the way forward. Legal confrontation is on one part, but social conciliation should be given higher percentage. So hopefully some nyay for Astha and sensitivity of believers will be taken care, and that sensitivity aspect is extremely important along with legality. Hopefully the court will admit it and find an amicable solution like Ayodhya Babri Masjid, which was a very polarizing issue. But at the end of the day, courts could find an amicable settlement, whereas our Muslim brothers were rewarded a great, almost twice the space they had there, and some kind of amicable settlement is there. And please remember one point, deities' birthplaces cannot be replaced. There is a sensitivity regarding deities' birthplaces. So these birthplaces carry some extra significance for Hindu community. I would urge and request our Muslim brothers to be sensitive to such things and be mindful of such things.
All right. Before I go across to other two guests, thank you for that, Mr. Ishwar. Stay on with us. Let's quickly go back to Nilashish, because the voices on ground also speaking of a lot of sentiment that prevails ahead of the verdict. Nilashish, over to you. What are the people there saying?
Well, yes, we have a number of people who have in fact paid their respects and are coming back from Dashashwamedh. आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे कि जिस तरह से आज एक अहम फैसला है, उसको आप किस तरह से देखते हैं? वाराणसी के लोग किस तरह से देखते हैं इस बात को?
सारे लोगों का फैसला कोर्ट पे ही टिका हुआ, निगाहें टिकी हुई हैं। जो फैसला होगा वो जय श्री राम के नारे पे ही होना चाहिए।
अच्छा, आप क्या कहेंगे? वहाँ कहा जा रहा है मंदिर मस्जिद की बात हो रही है, सर्वे हुआ, आप किस तरह से देखते हैं इसको?
वहाँ पे मंदिर था, जैसा कि नंदी बाबा का मुख है, सारी चीज़ें साक्ष्य प्रमाण मिले हैं, तो हमें उम्मीद है कि मंदिर के हक में फैसला आएगा।
ये देखिए, जिस तरह से अभी सिक्योरिटी बढ़ा दी गई है कल से, आपको लग रहा है कोई तनाव का माहौल है या सब शांतिपूर्वक चलता रहेगा?
नहीं, योगी बाबा के कार्यकाल में तो तनाव का माहौल हो ही नहीं सकता। सिक्योरिटी बढ़ाने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं है।
सिक्योरिटी बढ़ाने से कोई कुछ फर्क पड़ा है अभी शहर में कुछ, या आप अभी आ रहे हैं घाट पे दर्शन देके?
सुबह से हम लोग निकले हुए हैं, फिलहाल ऐसा कुछ नहीं लग रहा है। बाबा की सरकार में ऐसा कुछ नहीं पॉसिबल है, सब बढ़िया होगा जो कुछ होगा।
अच्छा, और जो भी कोर्ट का फैसला आएगा बनारस का हर कोई मानेगा?
बिल्कुल मानेगा, बिल्कुल।
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है?
नहीं, कोई दिक्कत
सिक्योरिटी में जी आप क्या कहेंगे? अभी जो ज्ञानवापी में आज एक ऑर्डर आने वाला है, उसको किस तरह से देखते हैं? कहा जा रहा है कि वहाँ पे शिवलिंग पाया गया है, मुस्लिम पक्ष कह रही है कि वो एक फुहारा था, आप किस तरह से देखते हैं?
हम इस नज़रिए से देखते हैं, ये पूरी काशी नगरी है जो वो हर शंभू की है, भोले का घर है।
अदालत से जो भी फैसला आएगा आप मानेंगे? कोई तनाव नहीं?
अदालत सर्वोपरि है, अदालत का जो फैसला आएगा वो सभी को मानना पड़ेगा, वो एक संविधान है।
आप क्या कहेंगे?
मेरे ख्याल से तो यहाँ का कंकड़ शंकर है। हम लोग तो सारी चीज़ें को शंकर मानते हैं, तो जो भी फैसला आएगा यहाँ के पीपल सारे उसको रिस्पेक्ट करेंगे, सारे उसको फॉलो करेंगे।
जो सिक्योरिटी वगैरह बढ़ाई है, कोई दिक्कत आ रही है? कुछ ऐसी शांति का ही माहौल है? हमें तो कुछ ऐसा दिख रहा है।
आप यहाँ खड़े, आपको लग रहा है कुछ अशांति? यहाँ पे बनारस है, कुछ नहीं होगा।
आप अपना दर्शन वगैरह करके आराम से सुबह से आए?
हाँ, हम तो यहाँ के लोकल हैं, तो कुछ नहीं होगा यहाँ।
Thank you. So you can see here that people say that they will, in fact, be absolutely all right with whatever the court says. They'll welcome it, and they will, in fact, peacefully continue their lives as far as the city of Varanasi is concerned. You can see again a number of people around here. The security that has been beefed up, that really hasn't changed the daily life, because they are saying we are peace-loving people and we will accept and welcome whatever the court says, in fact. And they, of course, have also, Katrin, put out their points as far as their thoughts on the Gyanvapi complex dispute as far as that is concerned.
All right, thank you for that, Nilashish. Let me quickly go back to Mr. Firoz Bakht Ahmed. Now, Mr. Ahmed, the mosque committee made arguments before the Varanasi District Judges Court with regards to the maintainability case. Lawyers for the Hindu petitioners have been claiming that law does not bar their case and that they could establish in court that the mosque premises were actually a temple as on the day of the independence. Those have been the arguments. But why is there a sense of fear that if this ruling comes in favor of the Hindu side, an attempt will be made to convert many such mosques into temple? Why this sentiment, sir?
All right. You see, for a first, let me congratulate your reporter, Mr. Nilashish, and also my friend, my co-panelist, Mr. Ishwaran. Now, Mr. Ishwaran talks about amicability. I am totally with him. And this issue should be settled outside court. And though the decision is today, but I thought, had it been settled outside court with an element of amelioration, then both the communities, they would have shaken hands, right? There's a couplet in Urdu, something like this, ke bhai dil mile ya na mile, haath to milate raho. But I think had this been settled outside the court, with Muslims being very generous and offering this to them, because maybe the court decides in the favor of this temple, and it might be a similar decision, which, I mean, this inkling is there in my heart and mind, that it might be the same kind of decision which actually took place in the case of, Babri Masjid and this Ram Mandir, court case. So still, a better thing would have been, I do not know, whatever the decision is, let us not go to courts. Let us settle these things, in an air of amicability. And I wish, had, some women wanted to go there for some prayer in a part of the complex. Now, had the Masjid committee allowed these women, and so I think this kind of a case could have been settled in, and this would have been nipped in the bud. But unfortunately, the Masjid committee, I do not know the way they have been calling this, shivling, a fawara, some piece of stone, that is very hurting. And lastly, my last comment, just please allow me 5 more seconds. The way, this Nupur, she was incited by some panelist of hers into quoting something in a very, very wrongful way against Prophet Muhammad, all these things would not have happened, right? And lastly, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Islam is against any patch of land which is not legally bought, or where there is a temple or some other, worship place. By razing that to the ground, if a mosque is made, that is purely illegal.
Right. So no one's sentiments should be hurt, and that's of course a top priority, and that's exactly what must be done. But Mr. IP Singh, though this issue has been at the center of a legal battle since 1937, we've seen how clearly this has not been able to settle outside of the courts. What are your hopes from the Varanasi court today, and what are you really expecting? Because much of what happens today and what the court decides is going to pave the way for what happens in the next few months, and it's going to be extremely important to highlight how it's a sensitive issue and must be dealt with an open mind.
देखिए, ये मामला देश की सर्वोच्च अदालत में विचाराधीन है, और इस बात को लेकर ये बात समझ में नहीं आती कि लोअर कोर्ट में ये मामला फिर से क्यों उठाया जा रहा है, जबकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट का इसमें पूरी तरह हस्तक्षेप है। हाँ, हर मोर्चे पर मोदी सरकार विफल हो गई है, महंगाई आसमान पर है, बेरोजगारी 47 साल में सबसे ज्यादा है, गरीबी बढ़ी है, देश की सीमाएं सुरक्षित नहीं है, चीन काफी हद तक भारत की सीमाओं में घुस आया है। तो सरकार कहीं न कहीं इन मुद्दों को भटकाने के लिए ज्ञानवापी हो, मथुरा।
बट मिस्टर सिंह, क्या आपको लगता है कि बहुत ही सिंपल सी बात थी, ये जो 5 महिलाएं हैं ये सिर्फ प्रार्थना करना चाहती थी वहां पे, अगर परमिशन दी जाती, अलाउ कर दिया जाता तो ये सब होता ही नहीं सर?
देखिए कि भारत का संविधान सभी धर्म को ये अनुमति देता है कि वो पूजा पाठ अपना करें, लेकिन संवैधानिक दायरे में अगर मुस्लिम समाज है तो जो मस्जिद है जिसको अभी तक माना जाता है कि वो मस्जिद है, तो वहां वो अपनी प्रेयर कर सकते हैं। हिंदू हैं तो अपने जो मंदिर है वहां वो पूजा पाठ कर सकते हैं, उसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं। लेकिन इस तरह के माहौल खराब करने का जो प्रयास हो, इसलिए कि बीजेपी हर मोर्चे पर विफल हो गई है। बीजेपी को लगता है कि 2024 को लेकर हमें माहौल गर्म करना चाहिए। तो आज कातिल और मुंसिफ दोनों एक ही अदालत में हैं।
ये तो अयोध्या मंदिर के टाइम भी सर बात की गई थी। खैर ये अभी मुद्दा नहीं है, बट आई एम गोना हैव टू लीव इट एट दैट विद यू जेंटलमैन। थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग योर इंडिविजुअल पर्सपेक्टिव्स विद अस। An important hearing that is scheduled for later in the afternoon. Let's see what transpires up next.